You are listening to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about propaganda. On this episode, we are discussing Little Ditty, track 2 on Where Quantity is Job 1, and track 2 on the Propaganda I Spy, I'd Rather Be Flag Burning 10-inch split.
Yes, what an intense conversation we're about to have about this overwhelmingly important song in the Propaganda discography. The other day, I was listening to the Quantity compilation, and Little Ditty came on, and I realized we've never done an episode about it. And so I asked the Discord people if we had to do one, and they said that Little Ditty is, I believe the direct quote is, essential. So apparently this is a far more important track than I was ever really considering. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's only right that we spend at least 3 hours talking about the song.
Okay, well, deal. 3 hours incoming. Do you like Little Ditty?
I love Little Ditty. Let's be clear. We're not talking about Ditty Little Ditty. We're talking about Little Ditty from the record. I don't want anyone to clip my sound bites saying that I like any form of Ditty.
Yeah. This is track 2 on 2 Propaganda releases, the Flag Burning 10-inch split with I Spy and the Where Quantity is Job 1 compilation. We got a cover for this song, if you can believe it. You know how I love including cover songs on our episodes? Well, we got one.
Who did this cover?
So Paul Hodgert did it. Paul has done,
of course,
several covers. Yeah, he's done several for us at this point. He's done the covers for the Fine Day and 4 More Years of War is Peace episode that we did, and more. So super grateful to Paul for this cover. Should we go ahead and hear it? Just kick it off right with the cover.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. This is Little Ditty by Paul Hodgert. Okay, what'd you think about that, Steve?
That was wonderful.
Thank you so much to Paul for, I'm sure he spent countless amounts of time on that, so I appreciate all of Paul's hard labor he did to create that. So Steve, we have some other stuff going on in the world. We'll get back to Little Ditty in a few minutes, but yeah, what are your thoughts here?
Some breaking news, if you will.
Right.
The Buffalo Bills are headed to the AFC Championship.
In Kansas City against the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going on the road. So we've had a couple of home games in the playoffs against the Denver Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens. Squeaked out a win against the Ravens. It was a nail biter, man.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
It was so scary watching that game.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I stayed home with the kids that night. And so I was just on the couch and, doing parenting stuff and hanging out with the kids. And so I wasn't feeling the tension of the stadium, but the crowd was incredible. The noise was deafening through the television, and the crowd was so contributing to the defense in that game that it cannot be overstated how important it is that a home crowd be loud when the other team is on offense, that they can't hear themselves think, and their communication breaks down. And I think that's why we won. I think a huge part of the victory was the home crowd.
It would have been an unbelievable game to be at, for sure. Mm-hmm. Do you think we should start having ads on the podcast so we can fund our Buffalo Bills tickets?
Maybe, yeah. I know that whenever we started this podcast, we were never going to ask anybody to rate, review, subscribe, or donate or pay, and we've never run any ads on the podcast. But now that we have this problem on our hands of enjoying professional sports, maybe we'll throw all values out, throw the baby out with the bathwater, and we'll just become, this will become a profit-seeking endeavor. And, I think that's the direction we're headed, Steve.
I mean, I feel like I could do like we're do who do we get an ad for like the online make your own will or something?
Yeah, I mean that would actually
I,
be really funny if
I
if we were like the Vegas Elvis agency that does marriages. Maybe we can get them to run ads or something like that, you know?
feel like do not leave your family unprepared in times of crisis.
The insane amounts of ads that we could get people to read on this podcast would be absolutely amazing. Like we could run like coupon codes for like Jackson Hole, Wyoming ski resorts or something like that. Like we could find something absolutely hilarious to run ads for.
What if instead of having an ad every episode, we just did one episode a year that was only ads?
Okay, so if anybody out there has any advertising that they would like for us to do on the podcast, please send your offer with the specific dollar amount. And if you
Instead of dollar amounts, honestly, for just we will read your ad in exchange for Buffalo Bills tickets.
well, yeah, and you can look up the amount of money online for how much Buffalo Bills season tickets costs, and you can send your offer in the exact amount of what we will need, taxes included, please, for reading the ad on the podcast. I can guarantee you that you will get several dozen people hearing your ad, and we will get season tickets out of it. So that's my hope here. I'm
Several dozen highly engaged people.
highly engaged. Highly, the people that listen are super motivated. They're committed. They listen to every episode of this insanity, and they will be happy for us if we get Buffalo Bills season tickets paid for by running ads for Milton's dog catching and infestation eradication out of let's say Aurora, Illinois. So we're ready for some highly niche and very specific ads that will cover a wide variety of topics and content in the most ultra niche things, because that's what we do here. We do niches
Yeah.
very well here.
Jim's Pawn Shop Emporium from Agency, Missouri is looking,
Yeah, there's a place that was in St. Louis that I think was very funny. One time I was driving around out by Six Flags near my parents' house, and it was fireworks, knives, and meat. And there was another one that was like auto parts and venison or something like that. Like there's a wide variety of extremely specific and very strange businesses that maybe bring those advertising dollars for us here, especially for the Little Ditty episode.
One of my favorite things is watching just like straight up regular Buffalo television to see the ads, the local Buffalo ads that are on TV. 9 out of 10 ads mention the Buffalo Bills because
Absolutely.
every company in all of Buffalo, they can only be profitable if they're favorable towards the Bills.
Absolutely. Like there's one where it's like a guy like lifts a lid off of a jar and it goes, "Let's go Buffalo." And then he puts the lid back down and then he opens it up again. And it goes, "Let's go Buffalo." And then he starts chanting along with voices coming from the inside of a jar. That's a good one. There's tons of stuff related to the Cancer Center, Roswell Park Cancer Center here. There's the Khalil Shakir series of commercials for Picasso's Pizza that look like they were made in like a public television editing bay.
Like the
And
Keon Coleman Buffalo travel ones.
oh my God, where he's like on the edge of Niagara Falls.
That is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. There is some niche stuff here. So if you don't, and the thing is, you'll never see them if you don't have an antenna and watch like the local broadcasts, because those things aren't played on like Paramount Plus if you're streaming it online, I don't think. But man, if you turn on the antenna for CBS local Buffalo, you are getting all these hilarious local commercials. And I think that's like a small time thing that used to be huge but still exists, but a lot of people, since they've moved to purely streaming for almost all of their entertainment, they're missing out on this like subculture of niche commercials from local
It's beautiful.
markets.
Local market commercials are some of my favorite things to watch because
Yeah,
like they are below like university production quality, every
yeah,
single one of them.
dude, I just had an idea. We need to make a TV commercial and pitch it to be played during the local games. You know what I mean? Like we should do, "Hey, this is Greg and Steve from Unscripted Moments, a podcast about propaganda. You are watching the Bills halftime show on CBS. I can't remember what it is, like WIVB or something like that here in Buffalo.
Uh,
And if we got them to play our commercial about our podcast on the broadcast, I would be losing my mind forever.
I want our commercial on the Sean McDermott show, which airs Saturday night at 11:30 up against SNL.
Dude, we have got to examine what we can do to make a commercial. Like we could do like background filters, like Zoom filters and stuff like that. We could probably just do a commercial right here on Zoom. You know what I mean? And then we could just like tell somebody to edit it for us. I bet we could make it happen, man. Like,
It would be
listen,
great.
you can find it on Apple. You can find it on just the website. Oh my God, there's a website to go to where you could do an MP3 download for free. We'll see you there. You know what I mean? We have to come up with a script for our commercial. And we could do like the logo artwork like pulses in and outwards, like it's like Wayne's World 1993.
We need Mac Hollins to be the person that promotes it because it would be even better.
This is great. Matt Collins likes to dress up. We'll dress him up like 2003 era Chris Hanna with the really low baseball hat and the big giant jean shorts and the tall maple leaf socks. And we'll dress up Matt Collins in costume, and we'll make him like a quasi Chris Hanna, and he'll say, "This is Chris Hanna from Propagandy." Actually, it's Matt Collins from the Buffalo Bills, but you know what I'm saying. I think that'd be great.
If you like lengthy talks about propaganda songs and Buffalo Bills cheddar, you know where to get that.
Exactly. So how are you feeling about the Chiefs game this weekend? Are you feeling okay? I feel fine about it.
I'm ready.
Yeah. You know what? This is what you have to remind yourself of. I know it's stressful, but you have to remind yourself that they want to win more than we want them to win. Do you know what I mean?
Which is hard to believe.
It is hard to believe, but they want it even more than us. So, I just have to understand that if it doesn't go our way,
Then
I
switch to the
know
league.
I know that they are sadder than me.
Yeah, but like, do you see Pat McAfee calling out the referees for favorable treatment towards the Chiefs?
Finally,
Which is a voice like his calling them out is significant. I mean, the entire broadcast for the Chiefs game on TV, the commentators were not okay with all the calls going favorable towards KC. So maybe that will shed some light on it going into this game, that they will need to be maybe a bit more mindful about the Patrick Mahomes contact or flopping calls they do.
Yeah, what didn't the Bills only get like one or two penalties called on them against the Ravens as well? Like we are playing we're playing pretty clean right now as far as I can tell. We didn't make any dumb mistakes in the last game.
One penalty they called on Deion Dawkins early on for the hold when that's the move that he's perfected, and all football analysts, they did on Pat McAfee, they did it on Locked on Bills. They did on a few shows, but they're talking about his like chop move that he does where the person goes down, and they're saying he's the best in the league and they should be showing tape of him doing this to all tackles.
Right.
And the referees in this game just decided it was somehow a penalty.
Yeah. Well, I felt great about the Ravens game all week. I was talking to Patrina about it, and I was like, I feel good about this game. I had this premonition that happened on like Tuesday of last week, and I texted her, and I was like, I was sitting at my desk, and I had this chill just run up my spine, and I was like, the Bills are going to win, and I saw it as clear as day. I saw Lamar and Josh hugging in midfield and Josh had won, and so I knew it. I had this premonition that happened like last Tuesday. And so all week long, I felt really great about it, and they were all freaking out, but I was like, I feel awesome. And so I felt
so unusual.
I know.
So I'm not used to you being that optimistic.
Usually I'm not, but for some reason this year, I mean, maybe it's the fact that they just went 10-0 at home for the entire season. So they're undefeated in that stadium. So they don't have a great road track record from earlier this season, but we have the healthiest offense and defense in the entire NFL right now, as far as I can tell.
So, I hope Taylor Rapp was okay though, because that's a dude that was huge.
That's huge. And Christian Benford right now is in concussion protocol. So we got a couple of little banged up situations going on, and we're on the road, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna watch it, and we're gonna see how it goes. And I'm gonna try not to freak out. But it would be it would be really nice to win this game. So I'm just kind of a little hopeful, hanging in there.
From the Ravens game, one last thing about the Ravens game. I would like to shout out my player of the game in the Ravens game, who I think had a massive impact. That would be probably one of your favorite players, Mr. Matt Milano.
Ooh,
Played
Pat Milano. If you watch the shit post from the Buffalo Bills social media team, Pat Milano. But yes,
Yeah.
best game he's had since he's been back.
That was absolutely unreal. He was all over Lamar.
Yeah,
He was the cause of so many of Baltimore's hardships in that game.
Mhm.
His pressure was undeniable as the spy on Lamar.
Matthew Biceps Milano.
Matthew Patrick Milano.
Best biceps in the NFL. Well, he and Matt Collins, I think, may be tied for best biceps in the NFL. Those two guys are hilarious.
Unreal.
Yeah, unreal biceps. So shout out to Matt Milano's biceps and for the pressure that he put on Lamar throughout the game. It's awesome to see Milano playing back at a super high level after those couple of unfortunate injuries that kind of kept him out of football for about a year.
2 years.
Almost, yeah, 2 seasons almost. So, it all started
To come back at that level after
that
that
stupid
long
London.
time.
Yeah, that London game in it last season.
Get Jacksonville, get out of here.
Yeah, ridiculous. So we lost Matt Milano for a super long time, and then he tore his bicep, unfortunately, at the beginning of the year. But it's awesome to see Milano back crushing it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes this weekend. Hopeful and just staying calm, breathing.
And that's our episode about Little Ditty.
Well, we need to talk about Little Ditty a little more. So this is something that I've noticed about this song. The band has an intermission 45 seconds into the release. Who does that? Who does an intermission 45 seconds into the album?
It's needed. It's needed.
Okay, why is it needed? Because I don't disagree, but I want to hear your thoughts on why.
Because you need to let the first song just sit for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Just sit. And then you put the first song on there. It punches you right in the face.
There was nothing remotely romantic about it. No hand-me-down sob stories. There's no genetic. So what was so goddamn important? That I found the head yourself. It's in every one of my convictions. 6 years, visually reassured of my consistency.
You get this little in there, you chill out a bit, and then boom, you're right back into it.
Yeah, well, Mutual Friend is a heavy tune. It's got Chris's probably screamiest vocals are on track 1, Mutual Friend. And shout out to Matt Milkowski, who made one of the best cover songs this podcast has ever seen about Mutual Friend. If you haven't heard that cover, go back and find our Mutual Friend episode because Matt's cover of Mutual Friend is awesome.
There was nothing remotely romantic about it. No hand-me-down sob stories, nurture genetic. So what was so goddamn important?
So I accept your explanation for why an intermission is needed 45 seconds into the release. What do you like about Little Ditty?
I mean, I like that it stands out. It's like this is going to sound insane, but it's maybe the standout moment of the record.
It's so catchy, isn't it?
Yep.
It's really, really catchy. Now, in an alternate universe, so this song leads into the 10-inch split version of I'd Rather Be Flag Burnings, and we thought the nation states were a bad idea. Okay? In an alternate universe, what if Little Ditty makes Less Talk More Rock instead of Public Disservice Announcement leading into and we thought the nation states were a bad idea? Which version, which interlude is more effective for nation states? Is it this one or Public Disservice Announcement that made the record?
I think Public Disservice Announcement, just because I don't know if I would change any of the sequencing on that.
Okay. So you like the fact that there's the story and behind leading into it, because the thing is about Less Talk is that it's idea dense, right?
And I like that.
Okay.
I think it's important that it is, because that album being idea dense, what is a lot of people's entry point into the band is that record. And I think it being idea heavy is important because it, as an entry point to the band, it's the point that's going to get everyone thinking and doing research and talking and doing everything most on their own. So I think it being idea heavy is very important, and I think the sequencing of it is ideal.
Okay, because something that I really like about Public Disservice is that it does introduce people to an important thing happening in the world, and that's petroleum extraction and marginalization of people around the world for the expense or at the expense of their, natural habitat and environment for our public consumption to drive our cars and fly our planes and make our plastic products. And so it does introduce that idea into Less Talk More Rock in a way that Little Ditty does not for I'd Rather Be Flag Burning. So I'm good with that. I'm good with leaving Public Disservice on the record instead of switching it out for this. But this is a fun little one, man. It's got some good ride cymbal action.
It is. The ride cymbal is popping.
It really is. Ding, ding. He's hitting that bell. Real nice. Real nice. So just a little bit of details. I've got the quantity compilation here. And we know this is track 2 from I'd Rather Be Flag Burning. And the commentary on the inside of the quantity liner notes says, tracks 1 through 7 were recorded and mixed in 2 days a long time ago at God of Thunder Studios by Paul James, Tim Clark, and Chris Brett. Yes, that's right. Even with 3 sets of objective ears, somehow no one bothered to tell me that my vocals hovered somewhere between asinine and hilarious. Listen to track 4 and ask me again why I have no self-esteem or brain. So hilariously, Chris does not like his vocal performance on this album, which makes Little Ditty most likely, if I had to predict, Chris Hanna's favorite song on this split from Propagandy's contributions to it. So I bet that Chris really likes Little Ditty compared to the rest of the record because he openly despises the vocal performance.
What is the how many times has Little Ditty been played live?
That's a great question. I mean, I wish I would have gone on setlist.fm, but I mean, back in the 90s, they may have busted this out a couple of times here and there,
Just over like with they busted it out while he antagonized the audience.
I'm not seriously. How funny would it be if Propaganda came on stage in Europe in a couple of months and opened with Little Ditty into nation states? Like, that would be sweet. If I had the ability to write Propaganda set lists, things would get completely crazy. So I'm offering up my services to Propaganda to write your set list. I will not take tunings into consideration or anything like that. So you'll be tuning for 3 or 4 minutes, most likely between every single song, because my sequencing will be perfect regardless of tunings.
You know what? More tuning at shows.
More, yeah. And don't talk to the crowd between shows. Tuning and no talking, and
silence.
4 or 5 minutes between every single song.
Honestly, just put an episode of Garfield up on the screen behind you. I'm good.
It's gonna be really, really awkward. Okay. Do we have anything else about Little Ditty? I found a comment on YouTube that said Little Ditty is such a tune. So this is an enjoyed track by people. I don't have any complaints about it.
Is it the unsung hero of the record?
Yes. We're going with yes, okay? The judgment has been passed. Little Ditty, unsung hero of I'd Rather Be Flag Burning and Where Quantity is Job Number 1. And I'm really delighted that we decided to make an episode about it.
Do you think that there's enough people listening to this that they could listen to Little Ditty on a streaming service enough that it would become their number 1 recommended song?
That would be incredible. Unfortunately, Little Ditty does not appear on streaming because Quantity and Flag Burning are not on any streaming services. So it's impossible for that to happen because the band, they should just put it on streaming.
Maybe they're afraid of this happening.
They are. They publicly do not want Flag Burning or Quantity to be the first introduction to their music. And they know the crazy people. They know the crazy people like us are out there. that would encourage people to go and listen to this so that it did become the number one thing that people find for the introduction of propaganda. So they know that it would be our fault. So they are doing that because they know that we will cause that problem.
Among all the other problems we got.
Yeah. So it's really funny too. I have the CD insert for the flag burning CD version, and Little Ditty is not even listed on Propaganda's track list. It says Mutual Friend, Nation States, Woe Is Me, Oka Everywhere, Highly Does Hebron, Reggae Fiesta, but no Little Ditty. So they don't even acknowledge the existence of this track in the liner notes, which is a real shame, if you ask me. But it is listed on the back of the CD version compilation. So yeah,
they're sleeping on a hit.
they are. If you could rank this in the entire Propaganda discography, what would you give this a ranking as?
I'm going to rank it a 3.5 just because it's entirely different than anything else out there.
Okay. I'm gonna. I hadn't even thought about the ranking, but I am going to just say yes and agree with your ranking. So I'm a yes man here. Great. Well, that's our episode on Little Ditty from a couple of releases. It's so important that they released it twice.
And do not clip any of our sound bites talking about any form of sized ditty.
Right. Well, we also have to clarify here that it's Ditty, Ditty.
Ditty.
With T's. Okay, well, thank you so much for listening to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about propaganda. Our episode on Little Ditty with 2 T's. And if you want to email us to tell us how much you hated this and how much we just wasted your time, you can at propagandapod@gmail.com. Or if you would like to buy us Buffalo Bills season tickets, I can tell you the exact dollar amount, including taxes, how much we are looking for. So that is the amount that it will cost you to run your ad for Marvin's Butterfly Knife Emporium from Little Rock, Arkansas. Marvin, hit me up.
If Marvin wants his ad to be 3 hours long, I will do a 3-hour long ad for Marvin for Buffalo Bills.
100%. I will raise you a 7-hour ad. It'll be an audiobook length advertisement for Marvin's Butterfly Knives Emporium. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for being here.
Go Bills.